I'd like to invite Mr. Andy Cooper from Yamaha to begin his session immediately. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have immersive sound already, sound over our heads. There was a crow bird making a noise up there as well. So be prepared to be immersed by sound today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Andy. I come from London in the United Kingdom. I've been working with Yamaha for 25 years now. And today I'm here to present to you Sound XR, our new immersive technology. And Sound XR is brought to you not just by Yamaha, but by the Yamaha group of companies, including Nexo and Steinberg. So I will explain all about it. But first, what is Sound XR and what is immersive technology? Well, Sound XR is Yamaha's vision to make immersive sound experiences available and enjoyable to everyone, not just the elite, lucky few. So, what do we mean by an immersive experience? Well, it could be in a theatre to captivate. Oh, sorry. What has happened? We're back. Sorry about that. So, immersive experiences will capture your imagination and could transport you to another place, maybe another world or a virtual reality. It could be a gripping drama in a theatre that helps you to forget about the ordinary problems of life. You can laugh, you can cry, you can be thrilled, you can be scared, you could be shocked. But you will feel a part of the action and you will feel like you are living in the story. So an audio-visual experience, maybe at a visitor attraction, it could recreate distant environments from other worlds, or it could bring you into a microscopic environment that you would not otherwise see, transporting you into different realities. It should make the audience feel like they are part of the performance, wrapping the audience in a world of sound and vision. Or it can help worshippers in a congregation to feel like they are part of something much bigger and provide spiritual connections with each other. But to have an immersive experience doesn't necessarily require huge amounts of technology. I had immersive experiences when I was younger just by reading books or listening to records. And these are some examples from my home that we have enjoyed. An immersive experience, a good book or a good record, you can get lost in your dreams as you're reading or listening. So an immersive experience has to start with a good story to tell. We've been telling stories as human beings ever since we could speak. The art of storytelling is ancient. And this was a way to immerse your neighbors, friends, and family in storytelling when the newest technology was flame and fire. Even others, seek an immersive experience in silence. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And, you know, these traditions of silence predate all our technology. But this is an experience for an individual. If you want to recreate such immersive experiences for a large audience, that's where you need the technology to make a large group of people feel like they are part of something, or to bring a large group of people into the story. That's where immersive technology can help us. So we can have hundreds, thousands even, people all experiencing the same feelings, the same energy, the same excitement, the same story. So for us then, an immersive experience, when we talk about immersive from an audio point of view, we are basically saying we've got sound all around us. We will have loudspeakers at the front, at the back, at the sides, even above us. So sound will be as if the sound is coming from every direction to us. And that's what we mean by immersive. So how does Yamaha fit into the immersive world? Well, I don't have time to tell you the whole Yamaha story, which lasts 137 years. So let me just give you a brief glimpse. Yamaha is the biggest musical instrument manufacturer in the world, and it started with a humble reed organ, then moved on to pianos, then brass instruments, and now we are one of the most innovative and cutting-edge companies in the pro audio industry. And did you know that Yamaha has been developing immersive solutions since the year 1969, when its architectural acoustics consulting was formed in Japan to service the growing demand for better acoustic environments in theaters and other performance venues. So this led to the first of Yamaha's electronic acoustic control systems, which in 1985 was launched as the first active field control, or AFC. In parallel, Yamaha has been developing professional audio, mixers, amplifiers, and loudspeakers since the year 1972, and also home audio systems for a similar amount of time. So, in fact, Yamaha is one of the leading and most award-winning companies for home theater technology, where we have been delivering 5.1, 7.1, 7.1.4 systems and Dolby Atmos for family movie nights and prestigious sports broadcasts. So all of this has led to where we are now. And Sound XR was first unleashed in the virtual world of gaming. So Sound XR Core is a binauralizer that has already been adopted in the gaming industry. Binauralizer, this means 3D sound environments for listening on headphones. And Sound XR Core has been implemented in several world-famous games, including Resident Evil 7 and Grand Blue Fantasy. This enhances the sound experience when gaming using headphones. And, recent figures show that 20% of gamers around the world now are gaming in virtual reality. And VR gaming as a whole has been growing by 45% every year since 2018. So this is a huge industry to be a part of. But that's in the virtual world. Back in the real world, Yamaha now has had 4 generations of AFC, active field control. And this has already been adopted in more than 150 venues around the world. You know, the first 3 generations of AFC were all about acoustic enhancement using microphones and loudspeakers to process the existing acoustic environment and to expand it so that a venue could host kind of music concerts that would otherwise require a much bigger space and a longer reverb time. So, for example, a venue designed for jazz could also be used for classical music and choral concerts. So, theatres, opera houses, performance arts centres, and conference halls all benefit from this technology. But now, Sound XR is our vision for kind of merging the virtual world and the real world with immersive experiences. Imagine creating an immersive experience in one space and then translating it to another. So perhaps a live concert with immersive sound can be recorded and then can be streamed with a binaural feed, so people can enjoy it on headphones at home. And it can be recreated in virtual reality and then played back in other distant virtual spaces. So a live performance can be captured, but the immersive 3D experience can be translated to people at home and to people in remote venues. So you can use your imagination when creating such events or experiences. It's not just, you know, for one venue, one night only, but the experience can live on and be repeated. So, to help us achieve all of this, the 3 Yamaha group companies of Steinberg, Nexo, and Yamaha have joined forces to pool their expertise. We've got groundbreaking technology from all 3 of the companies. Content creation software by Steinberg, architectural acoustic design, signal processing, and of course digital mixing from Yamaha. And then expertise in sound reinforcement, amplifiers and loudspeaker systems from Nexo. And the synergy of these technologies are going to create memorable, immersive moments for everyone. So let's have a little focus on Steinberg and Nuendo software for how we can deliver such immersive audio experiences. We have to begin with the creation of the content. So Nuendo has a lot of features for capturing live sound and studio performances, ranging from individual actors to Foley, to bands, live performances, musical theatres, and the biggest orchestras. Nuendo can record at sample rates up to 384 kilohertz, and it supports recording from ambisonic microphones. That is a 360-degree array microphone. So its flexibility is highly appreciated. There are new AI tools for dialogue handling and background noise removal. There are comping tools to assemble the perfect version of recording many takes. There are hundreds of processing tools available and rendering of tracks, groups, and a whole mix. Then sound design tools are also included in Nuendo, and I have enjoyed some of these myself, but there are many prestigious game developers using Nuendo for such purposes. So Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Microsoft, and Sony, they're all using these tools. So there's a sound randomizer tool which can create stunning variations simply by adjusting 4 parameters. There's a voice designer tool which is handy when you want to sound like you're in an alien environment. You want to change your voice to a robot.
Or to a fairy or something.
And then there are, of course, the immersive mixing tools. So there's a Dolby Atmos renderer included in Nuendo, which can handle 118 objects and 64 music beds. We can render with up to 9.1.6 channels of Dolby Atmos. And you can automate hundreds of tracks, groups, and effects with thousands of audio clips. And you can rehearse all this anywhere on headphones using Nuendo's ambisonic features. And another interesting thing, there are 387 headphone curves for HRTF, which means head-related transfer function. Everyone has a different shaped head, so when you wear headphones, everyone will have a different experience. But choosing the right headphone curve will mean different people can have the same experience from the same headphones. So you can make sure the immersive mix is tailored for each person listening in Nuendo. So then, lastly, about Nuendo, it will connect to Yamaha's AFC system. So it's ready for immersive use. You can fine-tune the content in order to match the characteristics of your performance venue. You can work with different versions of a show and change the content in a breeze. So every aspect of a production can be handled by Nuendo. And you can listen in headphones to prepare before you reach the venue. And of course, Nuendo includes hundreds of high-quality effects and processes. But one key thing also is that it includes 3D panning. And this can control live, in real time, panning of objects and performances in a venue. So you can see here what's happening is you've got XY or front to back, left to right on this side, and you've got the vertical panning on this side. And then down here you have divergence and distribution to determine the virtual size of an object and the smoothness of its movement. So that's where we start with the creation of the immersive content. But then we have to also think about how to deliver it to the audience. And this is where we have the unique advantage of Yamaha's and Nexo's lineup of technologies. So let me introduce to you what we have. The Yamaha DME7 processor with Yamaha loudspeakers provides a perfect solution for small-scale applications. And it means an immersive system can be combined with other parts of a venue, maybe hospitality areas or the lobby zone where you may need some audio playback, or a restaurant in the venue, for example. They can all be serviced by the same processor. And then you can choose from Yamaha's DZR, DXR, DBR, and DHR series of powered loudspeakers, and also the CZR and CHR, made in India, series of passive loudspeakers. But also you could use Yamaha's VXC, VXS, and VXL range of loudspeakers if you want to install them in the ceiling or on the walls of your venue. So a wide range of resources for different shapes and sizes of venue, but using this, the DME7 signal processor. This is a flexible, open architecture DSP now with immersive functionality. So, as standard, this has 64 Dante channels in and out for linking with the other devices in your system, but it can be expanded up to 256 in and out. And this will support a really diverse range of loudspeaker configurations, audio networking and logic settings, which can be controlled from touch panels and custom designed software screens. So it has a flexible license management, so you can support up to 64 channels of object-based mixing, all running at 96 kilohertz. If you need more than 64 channels of object-based mixing, then we can move up to Nexo's range for the mid and high scale of events and projects. So Nexo has actually been delivering immersive solutions for a couple of decades now, but maybe you just weren't aware of it. But facilities like the World Health Organization, they have a realistic wartime training environments which use Nexo immersive systems. And then there have been a range of stadium concerts using Nexo immersive systems. So by combining all the learning and expertise from Nexo, Yamaha, and Steinberg, we can ensure the immersive solutions are available for every size of project and venue. So now we have the new DME10. This is, I expect, the world's most powerful and cost-effective immersive sound processor. DME10 is 256 channels in, 256 channels out as standard. And again, it's open architecture processing. There's a flexible licensing system. So without any license, it will give you 32 objects and 16 speaker channel outputs to work with. Add one license and you're going to have 64 channels of object-based mixing with 32 speaker channels. Add another license and you'll get 128 channels of objects to pan, and you'll have 64 outputs of speaker channels. And the licensing being flexible, you can use different licensing for different projects. So 1 week you could have a 128 channel project. The next week you could split the license into 2 devices and do 2 separate 64 channel projects. So the DME10 is a Nexo badge product, but it's based on Yamaha's DME platform, but it goes a step further to give you a whole lot more processing. And it's flexible processing. So if you need more than an 8-band parametric EQ for your output channels, you can just drop in an extra EQ. If you need more dynamics at a certain point in the signal chain, just drop in a dynamics processor. If you're running 128 channels of immersive processing, you're only using half of the power this has. So this has a lot more capability for future expansion and for wider scope of your projects. So then, to help you design your immersive system? We have software. AFC Design Assistant will help you to effortlessly design the optimal speaker quantities. So see here, quantities, types of speakers, positioning, and it will help you to figure out how many you need on the front, the side, the rear, and what the spacing is going to be, and what the optimal place will be on your walls and your ceiling for all the loudspeakers. It is there to help you make the best solution. And then when we have our ideal speaker quantities and positions, we can simulate the acoustic environment in the Nexo NS1 software, which you can see over here, will work with the wide range of Nexo speakers and Yamaha loudspeakers. So it will present you with a whole choice and will help you to map out the listening levels you are going to expect in each seat in your venue. So everything from Nexo's small ID series for compact installations, through the P series for more powerful point source, and then to the full-scale geo line arrays for large arenas, stadiums, and festivals. They're all supported. And once we have a loudspeaker design, then we can send it directly into our AFC image controller, reducing configuration time even further. But we don't stop there, because we will give you direct control of your object panning from not just from Nuendo software, but from Yamaha's mixing consoles as well. So once the speaker positions have been imported into the AFC image software, we get to the fun part, the playback part. So AFC Image supports object-based mixing using a distance-based amplitude panning. So that's called DBAP in the industry, distance-based amplitude panning. So objects can be moved smoothly and easily in any direction using the intuitive interface of AFC controller. Here we see front to back, left to right, and here we see vertical positioning. So X, Y, Z panning on one view there. Obviously, using the software, it's a mouse control, but using a console, you can do X, Y, Z panning seamlessly, which we'll see in just a moment. Oh, and by the way, we have separate subwoofer rendering. So if you have subwoofers all around the venue, then they will be rendered separately, so you get a sense of space from your subs. It's not just one sub channel with no directivity. And another thing, 3D reverb is included in Yamaha's AFC. So what does this mean? It means we can recreate architectural acoustic design in any venue. So this can be used as a sound effect to add a sense of space to the atmosphere in your performance. You can select acoustic environments like a recital hall or a large concert hall, a small symphony hall, or even a cathedral. Then you can vary the room size and positioning to match your own performance area. And you can vary the shape of the reverb to choose how much or what the shape is going to be concerning the front and the back, the left and the right, above and below. So it's a pretty sophisticated but very realistic sounding 3D reverb. So to make operation of all this easier, our AFC image can be controlled from the Rivage PM series of consoles and will also be supported by the DM7 series of mixing consoles. Object positioning can be controlled from the touchscreen of the console, and the AFC image main fader and the reverb fader can be mapped to faders on the console. So XY positioning is managed by dragging the object on the screen, and the Z or height position is managed by the encoders below the screen, as are the sends to reverb and aux sends as well. Then, of course, if you have a DM7 console with its control panel, of course, you can use the joystick for your surround pan positioning. So it's a whole lot of fun to work with. But we have third-party integrations as well. Oh, there goes the crow. Third-party integrations. We use protocol which is industry standard, like OSC, Open Sound Control, and ADM OSC. ADM means Audio Definition Model. It's a metadata standard developed in the broadcast industry. But it's a well-established protocol that we are using for our AFC panning. And we can link with tracker systems as well. So Stage Tracker, ZacTrack, NeoStage, Follow Me, these are all systems where the performers wear a little tag which transmits their position to sensors around the stage. So when the person moves, the panning in the AFC system will automatically move with them. And this can be used for many performers on stage all at the same time. So it's a very exciting way for the sounds to follow the performance automatically. And then, of course, the Steinberg Noendo software, which you've already seen, where its own 3D panning can be used to control objects live, as well as having automated playback of immersive projects. So let's conclude, and here's our ecosystem. So we can have Nuendo and Cubase as the content production tools, but also as live playback tools and live control tools. We've got the Yamaha mixers for the panning control and reverb control. We've got the processors, the DME7 and DME10 processors to handle all the object-based mixing and all of the immersive loudspeaker systems. We've got the amplifiers, Nexo amps and Yamaha amps, and we've got the huge range of Nexo and Yamaha loudspeakers that can all be combined, all using the same software for system design and management. So that is our ecosystem for Sound XR and giving you live immersive experiences. So in summary, the three Yamaha group companies have worked together, Steinberg, Nexo, and Yamaha, to give you both on-site and off-site experiences, real-world and virtual world experiences. We'll support you for the whole seamless workflow from content creation through system design to delivery of the experience to no matter what size of audience or venue you choose. So to find out more, please go to our websites, Yamaha, Steinberg, Nexo websites to find out more, or look for people wearing Yamaha shirts talk to them or talk to me afterwards. But maybe we have a little bit of time if there are some questions anyway. Then I'm happy to hear and respond. So if anyone wants to ask anything right now, then please do. There you go.
So you told about that HRTF customization in the software, right? So can we customize it according to our measurements, or is there like a preset profiles already?
That's a good question. There are already, was it 387 or was it 67? More than 350 presets already available. So you find the one that suits your personality, that suits the headphones you use, and the size of your head the best. Yeah. So yeah, choose from one of the presets. Whether you can do your own HRTF and input that, I have to look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I can't answer exactly that.
Okay.
But I expect you would be able to do that. If not now, then next upgrade, I would expect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, any other questions? Yeah, there's another one.
Check, yeah. Doing immersive audio in live. Actually, in theaters we experience already recorded audio that is panned and object placed in a different area. While doing a live concert, how we are going to we'll able to manage in a console and panning the right thing doing automation live. So does it have any software in the console to do that, or we have to do it manually for each? So how a single person can do that?
That's a good question. So how to follow a live performance, or how to do the immersive panning for a live band, yes? So there's a couple of options. You could fit a tracker device to every performer on stage. So if they move, the sound moves with them. And you could tailor it so that the sound could just move in a sort of left-right plane, or you could include kind of left-right, front and back. So if they move forward in the stage, it will be as if the sound is closer. If they move back, it will be as if the sound is a little bit more distant. So that can be included if your performers are moving. If your performers are not moving, so I can imagine like synthesizer sounds. The performer is not moving around the stage, but you want the sound to move. So you could automate that with time code, for example, with scene memories, either in the AFC processor or in the console. You could have scene memories that at certain times a scene is recalled and the object moves. Or you can have a device which remotely controls the panning of the sound. So using OSC, you could create an iPad app to do the panning, for example, of certain sounds. Or you can use the mixing desk and select the object on the mixing desk, and then on the touch screen you can do the left, right, front, back panning, and using an encoder you can do vertical panning. So of course that's one channel at a time per screen on the console. If you've got a console with two screens, then you could do two channels at a time. So you've got quite a lot of options for how to do the panning. But OSC is an interesting one because you could give the performers their own iPad app, so they could move their own sound around using the OSC protocol. So, or you could custom control some encoders which are linked to a computer software which will transmit the OSC control. But you could give that solution there to the performers so they can do their own panning if you trust them to do that, if they have that creative mind. So lots of options. Any other questions?
Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Yeah. So what kind of latencies are we looking at in the real-time live mixing with object-based? Because, again, for a live performance, to be more as realistic as possible, the latencies have to be as low as possible. So what are the latency timelines we're looking at with another processor coming into the picture?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But it's going to be within just a few milliseconds because it's a hardware processor, it's not software control, so it's going to be quicker. Using the DME 7 or 10 processor is going to be just within a few milliseconds, so it's quicker than using plugins on a computer software. So we're talking about it for front of house use, where latency isn't a big issue. If you're talking about 10 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds latency, it's always going to be less than that. It's not even a problem that needs to be thought about. But obviously, you're not going to be using the same processor for the performers in-ear monitors. That's going to be quite separate to keep that fast. But yeah, you can be reassured. It's way quicker than it needs to be. Yeah.
So it's not suggested for monitoring, but it could be used for the front of house. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So actually, another interesting side point, another use of the AFC technology is the acoustic enhancement. That is where you have microphones picking up the natural sound of the venue over the performance area, and then loudspeakers around to enhance the acoustics. That is often used just to enhance the sound on stage for things like operas or orchestra, acoustic music performances. That's often used to give a better sound for the performers themselves so that they feel more confident in giving a good sound for the audience. Or it can be used in a rehearsal venue to make the rehearsal venue sound just like the performance venue. So that's another use of AFC, which I know some opera houses in Europe have been doing. So that's, again, because that's perfect for use, for the top professional musicians with acoustic instruments. So obviously there's no impact of the latency for them as well. So I don't have an exact figure because it depends on the size and scale of the processing, but it's always within the limit of what a professional musician will accept. That's all good questions. Any more before we close the session? Yes.
Check. Hi. Can the DME processing bring any value to a standard two-channel deployment, like something similar to the DNB soundscape, where you can do like a little bit of object-based placement, but with a two-channel deployment, like two standard hangs that you would find in most concert scenarios. Something where we could gain value from it from a two-channel perspective. in terms of getting more separation within the mix?
Yeah, no reason why not. It would be it will work with any number of channel outputs more than one. Obviously, the more loudspeakers, then the more realistic it will be. But yeah, I think there could be some benefit even with just left and right and object-based panning. You'd get smoother movements, and you'd get a sense of depth.
Exactly.
As well.
I'm just looking at like maybe just the horizontal plane. I'm not looking at like the whole immersive experience, because that's what we end up dealing with. Like, you know, and most venues will be working with a 2-channel deployment. So how can I get value in terms of what's already there?
Yeah. So in a left-right stereo loudspeaker situation, you can still benefit from the AFC processing, as it will give you a sense of movement from the front to the back of the stage. Yeah, with the automatic processing to sort of compensate the depth. So yeah, that's very interesting and good question. Yeah, more loudspeakers, you get a greater sense of positioning, and of course loudspeakers to the side and the back gives you an even greater sense of movement and depth. But yeah, you still benefit just from stereo left and right. Thank you. I guess that's time to finish. Thank you very much for coming. I'll stick around for a bit. If anyone wants to talk to me without amplification, then I'm happy with that. Thank you so much for coming, and do keep in touch with the local Yamaha staff, and keep looking on our websites for information and upgrades. Thanks, everybody.